Hello students, welcome to EPG Shala. I am Dr. S.K. Raza, former Director, Institute of Pesticide Formulation Technology. Today we are going to talk on module Applications of Mass Spectrometry under the paper Atomic Spectroscopy. The aim of this module will be to give an account of the applications of mass spectrometry in various scientific disciplines and areas. I have no hesitation in telling you that today mass spectrometry in its present form is finding applications in almost all areas of science and many other areas. At the end of this module, one should be able to understand the importance of mass spectrometric techniques vis-a-vis its applications in various scientific fields and its role in solving complex problems. Mass spectrometry can be used to detect and identify the use of steroids in athletics, monitor the breath of patients by anesthesiologists during surgery, determine the composition of molecular species found in space, determine whether honey is adulterated with corn syrup or not, locate oil deposits by measuring petroleum precursors in rock. It can also be used to monitor fermentation processes for the biotechnology industry. It can detect dioxins in contaminated fish. It can be used to determine gene damage from environmental causes. Mass spectrometry can also be used to establish the elemental composition of semiconductor materials. It can be used to identify structures of biomolecules such as carbohydrates, nucleic acids, and steroids. It has been used to sequence biopolymers such as proteins and oligosaccharides. Mass spectrometry has been used to determine how drugs are used by the body, that is, the study of metabolites, which has become a separate field of study called metabolomics. Perform forensic analysis such as conformation and quantification of drugs of abuse. It can also be used to analyze the environmental pollutants. Mass spectrometry is frequently used to determine the age and origins of specimens in geochemistry and archaeology. It has been used to identify and quantify the compounds of complex organic mixtures. Now let us discuss some important applications of mass spectrometry in various fields. The first and the foremost application is the identification of small molecules, which you may call as known unknowns. The term known unknown was introduced to indicate compounds that are unknown to the researcher but actually described somewhere in the scientific literature and or available in compound databases. The identification of known unknowns is a highly challenging task which can generally not be performed by using MS technologies alone, especially because MS often is not a very powerful tool in clearing stereoisomerism issues. Thus, in this, MS analysis should be combined with other techniques, especially nuclear magnetic resonance, that is NMR spectroscopy. In practice, this is not straightforward if one keeps in mind that NMR needs about 100 to 1000 times more pure compound to get an interpretable spectrum. Besides, MS and MS to the power n are readily performed within the time scale of high resolution chromatography, whereas NMR requires far longer data acquisition time, typically 8 to 16 hours when only low concentrations are available. Thus, either fraction collection or time consuming stop flow operations have to be performed when multiple unknowns within one LC run are to be identified by NMR spectroscopy. Following steps are involved in the identification of unknown compounds. One needs to collect as much information on the unknowns as possible. Parameters such as origin of the sample, solubility, thermal stability, and possibly underlying chemistry may provide valuable pieces of information. Further, one needs to establish whether the sample is actually amenable to MS analysis by GCMS in EI mode, LCMS in either positive ion or negative ion mode, or preferably both, MALDI-TOF MS, or by any of the other available mass spectrometric techniques. If the first MS data are acquired by HRMS, the calculation of the elemental composition of the unknown is possible. On the basis of the elemental composition, compound database may be searched for known structures. Subsequently, acquired MSMS or MS to the power n data allow filtering the known structures from the database by checking the observed fragmentation behavior against predicted fragmentation of the database retrieved structures. In the end, standards should be purchased or synthesized and analyzed to check retention time, fragmentation behavior, and possibly other properties if possible. I have shown some examples where the spectrum obtained by using various MS technologies can be used for the structure elucidation of the organic unknowns. Here I have shown the spectrum of various classes of compounds such as a hydrocarbon, an aromatic compound, an aromatic halide, and a dione, so that the fragmentation pattern can be used for the identification of these classes of compounds. You can see these different classes of compounds are showing different pattern in the mass spectrum, and hence these can be used as diagnostic ions for a particular class of compound, which I have already discussed in the fragmentation mechanism of various classes of compounds in earlier modules. It is really not possible to discuss all the applications that mass spectrometry has today. I will try to restrict myself to some of the important applications that mass spectrometry is being used for, and the first that I have selected is the identification of drugs and their metabolites. The structure elucidation of active pharmaceutical ingredients, drug metabolites, or natural products within a particular compound class can be performed by using mass spectrometric techniques. Suitable separation technologies such as gas chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, capillary electrophoresis must be developed for the isolation of the related substances either online or offline. The acquisition of mass spectra or tandem mass spectrometry, that is MSMS, and or MS to the power n, which is available today, spectra of the parent drug. Then data processing to search for potential related substances, MSMS or MS to the power n, have to be acquired. This is mostly done by using automatic switching technologies between MS and MSMS or MS to the power n experiments, preferably using high resolution mass spectrometry, which is available today. Finally, the interpretation of the data has to be performed by combining the complete data that is available, which we generally call as data analysis. Here is an example of a drug being identified by using mass spectrometry. Haloperidol. It's a dopamine inverse agonist of the typical antipsychotic class of medicines. Haloperidol is an older antipsychotic used in the treatment of schizophrenia and acute psychotic states of the delirium. A long-acting decanoate ester is used as an injection given every 4 weeks to people with schizophrenia or related illness who have poor adherence to medication and suffer frequent relapses of this particular illness, or to overcome the drawbacks inherent to its orally administered counterpart that burst dosage increases risk or intensity of side effects. In some countries, such as the United States of America, injections of antipsychotics such as haloperidol can be ordered by a court at the request of a psychiatrist also. Here I have shown the ion chromatogram and the mass spectrum of the haloperidol. In the upper slide, the structure of the drug is also given. You can see there is an odd nitrogen atom present in the molecule, and hence the molecular ion is obtained as at 375, which is an odd molecular ion, as I informed to you earlier that odd nitrogen results into the odd molecular ion. And then there are fragment ions formed due to the cleavages of this molecule. Another drug, Ramelton, is discussed here. Ramelton, marketed as Roserum by Takeda Pharmaceuticals North America, is the first in a new class of sleep agents that selectively binds to the MT1 and MT2 receptors in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, that is SCN, instead of binding to GABA receptors, such as with drugs like zolpidem, isopicolone, and zaleplon. Ramelton is approved by the US FDA for long-term use. This drug does not show any appreciable binding to GABA A receptors, which are associated with other drugs. Shows the GCMS of Ramelton. You can see the ion chromatogram in the upper half and the mass spectrum in the second half. This is also an odd nitrogen containing drug, and the molecular ion is obtained at 253, which is again an odd number. A variety of drugs have been analyzed in urine by using gas chromatography coupled to a mass spectrometer. You can see various drugs are listed here, and a very low concentration has been used to detect them in nanogram per ml level rather, 300, 150, 200, 300, 300, 300 and 200, and you can see that the limit of detection by using GCMS is quite significant. You can detect these drugs between 1 to 12 nanogram per ml, so that is quite a good detection limit for GCMS. Besides the drug themselves, you can also identify the drug metabolites by using various mass spectrometric techniques. As you all might be knowing, fate of drugs in living organisms depends on the nature of the drug being administered to a human or animal. So the metabolites are formed due to the degradation or biotransformation of these drugs, and these metabolites can further degrade into various forms, and they can also form adducts by reacting with various molecules present in our system, and then they are excreted and detoxified. All these things, all these steps can be detected by using mass spectrometric techniques in various matrices such as liver, tissue, blood, urine, and so on. Gives you an example of how the metabolites can be detected by using mass spectrometry. You can see that the drug metabolites have been identified by using mass spectrometry. The detection of nefazodone metabolites by using high resolution mass spectrometry, because various types of metabolites are formed. So the simple mass spectrometer may not be able to give you the right structure of various metabolites. That is why high resolution mass spectrometry can be used for the exact molecular weight of the compound and hence arriving at the right structure of the molecule. Here again, high resolution MS analysis of GSH trapped reactive metabolites of ticlopidine in rat LMS using various data mining methods is shown. You can see that various peaks are observed which can be resolved into various molecules, and then the comparison with the available databases can be made, searched in the available libraries, and arrived at the right structure of various metabolites formed in the system. The next important application of mass spectrometric techniques is in the analysis of lipids. Lipids are made up of many classes of different molecules which are soluble in organic solvent. Lipidomics, again, a new branch has come up, just like proteomics or genomics, which is a major part of metabolomics. It constitutes the detailed analysis and global characterization, both spatial and temporal, of the structure and function of lipids, the lipidome, within a living organism or within a living system. Many new strategies for mass spectrometry based analysis of lipids have been developed. The most popular lipidomics methodologies involve electrospray ionization, source, and triple quadrupole analyzers. As you already know, there are many various types of ionization sources are available, but electrospray ionization is the most sought after technique for the analysis of lipids. Using mass spectrometry, it is possible to determine the molecular weight, elemental composition, the position of branching, and nature of substituents in the lipid structure. Gives a flow chart of the study of lipidomics, that is, the structure elucidation of various lipids. It starts with the sample collection, then sample extraction, and then MS analysis is carried out, and then acquiring meaningful biological information can be obtained by using MS analysis of the lipid. Gives you a total ion chromatogram in positive and negative ion mode of a yeast WT lipid extract with highlighted region where lysoglycerophospholipid, that is LGPs, GPs, DGs, SPLs and TGs elute. The A on the upper side shows the corresponding chromatogram of yeast WT grown in YPD in positive electrospray ionization mode, while the lower frame, that is B, it shows the chromatogram of the same WT sample under identified chromatographic condition in negative ion mode. You can see various types of lipids are segregated quite effectively by using the LC-MS system. It shows the separation of constitutional isomers of TG, that is triglyceride 54:6. The upper frame, that is A, gives the XIC of MBZ 896, that is ion chromatogram of MBZ 896, which shows two separated peaks, while the frame B gives you the mass spectrum of MBZ 896 at peak A 28.2 minutes. The major fragment is caused by the loss of C18 to fatty acid, and the frame C on the right hand side down below shows the MS spectrum of MBZ 896 at peak B, that is 29.1 minutes. The major fragments are caused by the loss of C22,6 and C16,0 fatty acids. So they can be identified quite conveniently by using mass spectrometry. Coming to the next application, which is finding wide application in particularly biomedical areas or medical studies, is the analysis of proteins and peptides using various mass spectrometry technologies. As you all know, proteins and peptides are linear polymers made up of combinations of the 20 amino acids linked by peptide bonds. The proteins undergo several post-translational modifications extending the range of their function via such modifications. The term proteomics refers to the analysis of complete protein content in a living system, including co- and post-translationally modified proteins and alternatively spliced variants. That is, you can study by mass spectrometry all the transformations taking place in a protein molecule or in a peptide molecule due to biological transformations. Mass spectrometry has now become a crucial technique for almost all proteomics experiments. It allows precise determination of the molecular mass of peptides as well as their sequences. This information can very well be used for protein identification, de novo sequencing, and identification of post-translational modifications. I would like to tell you that specific softwares have been made available commercially to undertake all these studies. Now, the basic lab experimental setup for a protein analysis by mass spectrometry needs the following requirements. Number one, proteins digested with an enzyme to produce peptides. The second point is that peptides charged, that is ionized, and separated according to their mass to charge ratios, and then each peptide is fragmented into ions, and M by Z values of fragment ions are measured. The step 2 and 3 performed within a tandem mass spectrometry. So you cannot do all these things by just a GCMS or an LCMS. You need MS technologies, or maybe MS to the power n technologies, to get the maximum information that you want to obtain during the analysis of proteins and peptides. The proteins consist of 20 different types of amino acids, as you all might be aware, with different masses except for one pair, that is leucine and isoleucine, and different peptides produce different spectra. The spectrum of a peptide is used to determine its sequence, and that is done either by C cleavages or N cleavages, and you get different types of fragment ions which are of diagnostic value for that particular amino acid or peptide. We are going to understand which is the best technique for analysis of proteins and peptides, whether MALDI or electrospray ionization. MALDI is limited to solid state, while electrospray ionization performs the experiment on liquid samples. ESI is better for the analysis of complex mixtures, as it is directly interfaced to a separation technique, that is HPLC or capillary electrophoresis. MALDI is more flexible, where you can go for high molecular weight compounds from 200 to 400,000 Dalton. As I discussed earlier, proteins have to be broken into peptides, which have further to be fragmented into fragment ions, and therefore the proteases, for example trypsin, breaks the protein into peptides, and then MSMS breaks the peptides down into fragment ions and measures the masses of each piece of the fragment. The MS measures M by Z ratio of an ion, as you all know, shows the peptide fragmentation. You can see that amino acids differ in their side chains, and hence the predominant fragmentation takes place either at C terminal or at N terminal or both, and various types of fragment ions can be formed due to the fragmentation of a peptide. Down below I have shown the predominant fragmentation that takes place in any long chain peptide molecule. It gives the tendency of peptides to fragment. C terminal side of aspartame, you can see that it gives rise to various fragment ions RK, D, V, Y, and so on. So here also RK, E, V, Y, both the spectrum are different, and then therefore you can distinguish between the sequence of amino acids arranged in a peptide molecule. Large scale analysis of in vivo phosphorylated membrane protein by immobilized metal ion affinity chromatography and mass spectrometry. So you can see here again different types of fragmentation is obtained for various types of peptides, and the fragmentation pattern can be used for characterizing these peptide molecules, as the fragmentation pattern will be different for different types of different peptides. Electrospray ionization MS spectrum of a doubly charged ion of protein with FT-ICR MS, that is FT ion cyclotron resonance mass spectrometry. Here again you can see that doubly charged ions are formed, M plus 2H 2 plus, and then various amino acid fragmentations are obtained at various ions. It shows the MALDI-TOF MS of human hemoglobin A. The A frame shows two beta globins, one normal and one mutant, while B frame shows MALDI spectrum of the tryptic cleavage of the beta globin. So the mass spectrometry, MALDI as well as electrospray can be used very efficiently for the identification of various types of molecule, having no limit on the molecular weight of those peptides and proteins. The next application that we are going to discuss is the analysis of oligonucleotides by mass spectrometry. Oligonucleotides, that is DNA or RNA, They are linear polymers of nucleotides. These are composed of a nitrogenous base, a ribose sugar, and a phosphate group. The oligonucleotides may undergo several natural covalent modifications which are commonly present in transfer RNA or rRNA or unnatural ones resulting from reactions with exogenous compounds. Mass spectrometry plays an important role in identifying these modifications and determining their structure as well as their position in the oligonucleotides. It not only allows determination of the molecular weight of oligonucleotides, but also in a direct or indirect manner the determination of their sequences. Shows the mass spectrum of triglycerides. A frame shows the MALDI linear TOF, that is time of flight mass spectrum of a DNA 40 MER in negative ion mode, while the frame B gives the MALDI reflection TOF mass spectrum of an RNA 195 MER in the positive ion mode. In both the cases, the spectra were obtained using 3-HPA as matrix and a laser at 337 nanometer. So you can see that these can be distinguished very easily by using MALDI TOF mass spectrometry. The different types of spectra obtained for synthetic oligonucleotides. So the frame A is the negative ion electrospray ionization mass spectrum of a 4260 Dalton synthetic oligonucleotide, while the frame B shows the E electrospray ionization mass spectrum of transferase RNA val 1 for E. coli, and the calculated mass is 24681. So you can see that it shows the molecular weight and then further fragmentation to give the sequence of various amino acids can be determined by using electrospray mass spectrometry. The application of mass spectrometry in plant biotechnology. The plants produce more than 200,000 metabolites, many of which play very specific roles in allowing adaptation to specific ecological niches. Therefore, the main problems encountered when characterizing the plant metabolome have to do with the fact that in comparison to the proteome or transcriptome, the metabolome is highly complex in nature, enormous chemical diversity of the compounds. In addition, there is a wide range of metabolite concentrations which can vary over 9 orders of magnitude, that is picomole to millimole. These large variations in the nature and the concentration of analytes to be studied provide challenges to all the analytical technologies employed in metabolomic strategies. So the identification of plant metabolites can be very easily achieved by using mass spectrometric techniques. GCMS is one of the most widely used analytical technique in plant metabolomics. Qualitative as well as quantitative analysis of wide range of volatile and or derivatized non-volatile metabolites can be achieved with high thermal stability. After separation by any of the separation techniques, the eluted metabolites are identified by mass spectrometry. Direct injection MS analysis may also be used for the phenotyping of plants, that is Fourier transform MS, that is FTMS, provides ultimate limit of detection and mass measurements precision to enable metabolomic analysis. The GCMS chromatogram of a metabolic mixture from plant extract, and you can see that in a single run 33 various metabolites can be identified by using mass spectrometric technique, either through comparison with library or by using reference standard for different molecules. It is a GC-TOF MS which shows metabolic profile in approximately 2 minutes. The frame A gives total ion current, that is or chromatogram of a mixture of C8 to C28 straight chain hydrocarbons used for retention index assignment via AMDIS software, while the frame B gives you the TIC of a trimethylsilylated tomato extract and C frame gives you the mass spectrum of GC peak with retention time 0.94 minute arrowed, and then D gives the matched spectrum of phosphoric acid TMS from NIST library available with most of the instruments used in identification of such compounds. It gives LC TOF MS ion chromatogram of detected flavonoids acquired at electrospray positive ion mode. The frame A is an electrospray negative ion spectrum, while B is from the ethanol extract of R. rosea aerial parts. So again, you can see that positive ion and negative ion both in electrospray ionization mode can be used for the identification of various metabolites using LC-TOF MS. Now, one of the very important application of mass spectrometry in today's context is the analysis of anabolic steroids by mass spectrometry. Anabolic steroids, also known more properly as anabolic androgenic steroids, represented by AAS, are steroidal androgens having large medicinal values. Enhancement of athletic performances through anabolic steroids is forbidden in human sports, but still it is being undertaken in all international sports events, and you may be reading these in newspapers and watching them in the electronic media that such and such athletes have been banned to participate in future events because of the consumption of anabolic steroid, which is usually detected in their blood or urine. Global fight against doping in sports is supervised by a world body which is called World Anti-Doping Agency, that is WADA. Now, in practice, drug abuse is controlled by way of testing of athletes, and generally urine or blood samples are collected from athletes either prior to or during the contests or sports events. The test samples are analyzed for banned substances in analytical laboratories accredited by WADA. In India, we have a National Dope Testing Laboratory NDTL situated in Delhi near Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, which is a WADA accredited laboratory, and it tests not only the Indian athletes but even in international events. They are given contract to analyze the samples obtained from international athletes. How anabolic steroids can be detected? The detection of anabolic steroids is demanding due to the presence of numerous different steroids, their extensive metabolism, and their very low concentrations in urine. Further, the steroids used are generally undergoing metabolism into the system of the athlete, and the concentration becomes still very low of those metabolites, and they have to be detected in order to prove that a particular athlete has consumed a specific anabolic steroid. A capillary gas chromatography coupled to a benchtop quadrupole mass spectrometer, that is GCMS, has been the backbone of testing of anabolic steroids. But today, because of the large number of compounds having similar molecular weights, a lot of emphasis is being paid on high resolution mass spectrometry so that the compounds can be identified unequivocally. Although GCMS allows fairly successful large-scale screening, more efficient instrumental techniques such as high-resolution mass spectrometry, tandem mass spectrometry, and liquid chromatography mass spectrometry are also needed to enhance selectivity and sensitivity of the measurements due to very strategic and sensitive nature of the analysis. Shows the general structure of the anabolic steroids which are used by athletes for prohibited activities. It gives the applications of mass spectrometry in food safety. You know, food safety is a very important issue being discussed these days by one and all. The use of powerful mass spectrometric detectors in combination with gas chromatography and liquid chromatography has played a vital role to solve many problems related to food safety. These techniques are especially well suited for but not restricted to the analysis of food contaminants within the food safety area. There are basic legislations in different parts of the world for the control of these contaminants. The latest innovations in mass spectrometric techniques have influenced the best control of food, allowing an increase in the food safety and quality standards. The major chemical contaminants which are present in food, they may be pesticides, drug antibiotics, heavy metals, aflatoxins, and then environmental contaminants such as polyaromatic hydrocarbons, polychlorinated biphenyls, dioxins, and furans. Mass spectrometry can be used for all the above chemicals present in traces in various food matrices. Here, the pesticide residues, organochlorine pesticide residues have been determined in sugarcane by using gas chromatography mass spectrometry. You can see that a variety of organochlorine pesticides in one run can be detected by using GCMS at a very, very low level. This slide gives the chromatogram obtained for the organophosphorus pesticide residues in sugar cane. So again, you can identify all the organophosphorus compounds in one run in any food matrix. Here I am showing for the sugar cane. How useful LCMS can be for the detection of pesticide residues in food matrices. Here you can see more than 280 pesticide residues, including difficult polar species, show excellent peak shapes and retention on a C18 LCMS. So all these peaks can be resolved further and their mass spectrum can be obtained, and the identification can be done by comparing them with the library or by using reference standards. The presence of aflatoxins in food matrices has been confirmed by using LCMS. You can see B1, B2, G1 and G2. All the aflatoxins can be separated by using HPLC and then identified by using mass spectrometric techniques. The LCMS-MS analysis of aflatoxins in cereals, you can see G2, G1, B2, B1, they all can be analyzed by using SRM or MRM, precursor ions and their product ions, and the LOD obtained is quite low at the level of nanogram per ml. You can see 0.025, 0.020, 0.025 and 0.020 level of aflatoxins can be detected in any food matrix by using SRM in LCMS-MS mode. So my dear students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this particular module. Mass spectrometry, due to its high sensitivity and selectivity, can found applications in a variety of fields, as you might have realized by seeing the applications that I have discussed in this particular module. The recent innovations in mass spectrometric techniques has made it a highly sought after technique in almost all areas of scientific research. Only a few of these applications I have discussed in this limited presentation because it is very difficult to discuss all of them. It needs hours and hours and hours to go through all those applications that are being made and that are being done for mass spectrometric techniques. Thank you very much.